Well, Jamie, there's growing outrage over the man convicted of the bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. That attack killing 270 people back in 1988. You may remember that last year a judge released the suspect from prison on humanitarian grounds after he was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Well, guess what? It's 11 months later and Abdel al-Megrahi is still alive and kicking in Libya. And adding insult to injury, the doctor who treated him now reportedly says the guy could live for another 10 years. Why was he freed? Was there a deal? Did BP play a part? On Capitol Hill, they're demanding answers. Joining us now on the telephone is Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, a Republican member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which plans a hearing on all this on July 29th. Senator, welcome this morning. I got to tell you, something smells. What do you want to know?
It sure does, Eric. We're going to have a hearing. Americans have absolutely been outraged when he was released a year ago. This convicted terrorist deserves to be behind bars. And one of the additional tragedies is we watched on Fox News as they showed the video of him getting a welcome home, a hero's welcome in Libya. So what we want to know now is, was it a connection or a coincidence between BP really now come out has been lobbying for the release, and now they signed this lucrative deal with Libya just shortly after his release. It's a $900 million offshore oil and gas exploration deal in the Mediterranean right off of Libya. Was there a quid pro quo? Was there a connection? And these families are still suffering. The families of the victims, 270 people killed, 189 of them Americans. Finally now the British people say, well, it was a mistake. The British government says it was a mistake that he was released.
Will you put BP executives on the stand under oath with their hand raised to tell the truth, and will you guys grill them?
There's going to be a grilling, and it's coming up in about 10 days or so on the 29th of July. I would like to see them under oath. We want to hear from them. I'd also like to hear, I'm a doctor, practiced medicine for 25 years. I want to see who the doctors were, because there's a report now, Eric, that's come out that said one doctor was paid by the Libyan government to make this diagnosis. So was this an intentional misleading of the people in Scotland?
Well, Senator, why didn't the U.S. that signed off on this deal from Scotland, why didn't the authorities there know about that if that was the case? You may be referring to Carl Sikora. He's a doctor who reportedly says, yeah, it was a wrong diagnosis, and reportedly the Libyan government suggested it. I mean, how could this happen in the first place? Well,
the Americans have a right to know. From the beginning, we were told that if this trial was held in Scotland, because that's where the explosion happened over Lockerbie, it killed civilians on the ground as well as those in the air. We were told that if there was a conviction, that person would spend the entire sentence in jail in Scotland. Nothing about some humanitarian release that people on both sides of the aisle politically opposed in the United States. I think all Americans opposed this, quote, humanitarian release, because it looks like they played a game with it, and now he's back getting a hero's welcome in Libya. The families are still suffering, and the American people want answers, and we plan to get those on July 29th.
Does this make a mockery of justice when they have these type of deals, especially when you consider some of the allegations involved in this?
Well, we have to respect the foreign country in Scotland and their courts, but I'm very disappointed with what they did. I think it was a mistake of release. Now the British government is saying the same, that it was a mistake, and you have Republicans and Democrats alike in Congress calling foul, and we want to know exactly what happened between BP and the Libyan government and the decision for the release and money moving, and was terrorism essentially played second fiddle to money, and we're not going to allow that.
Was terrorism rewarded? That is the question, and BP executives apparently will be on Capitol Hill under oath. Senator John Barrasso, Republican of Wyoming, member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, thanks so much, and we look forward to getting some answers at that hearing.
Thank you, Eric.